This is Sam from Unidale, and you're tuning into another edition of the Sam I Analyze Show. Today was a little busy in the NBA. A coach was given his walking papers halfway through the season. Let's analyze. The Milwaukee Bucks, Adrian Griffin, first-year coach, 43 games in, and, mind you, second in the East, was giving his walking papers. He heard the dreaded words. He heard those words from, there was a show. I forget the name of the show. You're fired! That was the show, The Apprentice. There we go. Gotta take some time, analyze. And he heard those dreaded words today. You are fired. You're out. And I was shocked a little bit, but not really. When you really, really think about it, people are like, well, Sam, I mean, how does he lose his job? How does he lose his job 43 games in, and your team is second in the East? How do you get fired? With a record, mind you, of 30-13, 3.5 games back of the Celtics, 6-4, mind you, in your last 10 games. How do you lose your job? He was doing a solid job, right? Wrong. It was a little misleading. It was a little misleading. And the reason why is because what is the phrase that you hear when it comes to winning championships? What is it? What is it? No, I'll tell you. Defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. And unfortunately for Coach Griffin, the team was, they were doing their thing, but record-wise and everything like that. And obviously, I've said it before, if you have a guy like Dame Dollar, if you have a Dame Time, Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're going to find a way to win games, right? Well, here's why I believe he was giving his walking papers and he was let go. Because there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure that's coming from Giannis and Dame, obviously. They want to win. And anybody who watched this Milwaukee team saw that something's not right. Something's not right. And defensively, this team can't stop anyone. They went from being, mind you, they had a defensive efficiency last year they were number 4, and this year they're 22nd. See, that's a problem. That's a problem. And it is, in looking at this, I knew that was going to be an issue. But here's the thing. Who's to blame for that? You blame Coach Adrian Griffin for that? I don't think he's supposed to blame for that, because I said they lost on the perimeter. In losing Holiday and getting Dame, it's a difference. Getting Lillard is a difference on the perimeter. Dame is a scorer, where you had everything with Drew Holiday. So my thing is, they made this trade, and yes, they can score and everything like that, but they lost some dogs. They lost some dogs, and I think that is the problem. They lost dogs over there. So I think if you look, and you have to look no further than General Manager John Horst, who did in a statement say about the firing, he gets the quote of the day, We are working immediately towards hiring our next head coach. That's what he said. And in the interim, the person who's going to be taking over is Joe Prunty, who had this position before. Listen, Adrian Griffin, will he rebound? I'm sure he will. You know, that first part of the season, they were second in the East, and you can't take anything away from him. But I think they lost on the perimeter, and that was important. They were not, unfortunately, with this new NBA, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. And I think when you look, I mean, losing Holiday was huge. Losing Holiday was huge. And there's another perimeter, Grayson Allen. That was huge. Dogs on the perimeter. So you're hearing now, where do the Bucks go now? You're hearing that they're looking at one Doc Rivers. I don't know. You can't just, here's the thing. There's no offseason. He's not going to just come in and say, all right, let's put some salt in it, some this, some that, stir it up, and we got a champion. I mean, you have Dame and Giannis, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy job. So you're hearing that they want Doc Rivers. Let's see what happens. Look at Doc's resume these last few years. He shouldn't have lost his job to the Sixers because, they fired him because James Harden wasn't happy, but he still left. But yet they were still underachieving. So Doc Rivers, I don't know if he's going to make a difference. I'll tell you what, who the Bucks should go after? You ready for this? Mike Budenholzer. That's right. Their former coach that they let go at the end of the season. Mind you, I thought that was the grimiest thing ever, what they did to that man. Granted, I mean, at times you looked at his coaching like, what are you doing? But he's a champion. And you let him go because the Miami Heat, who, mind you, certain teams just own you. And they own the Bucks. Miami, whoever is on their roster, they just own the Bucks, right? And Mike Budenholzer was let go. Mind you, he coached the team at a few days. I think during the series, he lost his brother unexpectedly. And they said, and they let him go? A guy who won you a championship, by the way. I think if they would have started the season with him, a guy who had them ranked 4th last year, they might have been doing better, in my opinion. So we're going to see what happens with the Bucks. Now, I mentioned South Beach, the Miami Heat. They let go of one of their players. They let go. Kyle Lowry was traded, 37-year-old Kyle Lowry, that is, to Michael Jordan's former team, the Hornets, for Terry Rozier. Scary Terry is now a Miami Heat. This was a great trade for Miami. You trade away a guy in Kyle Lowry who's going to be 38 March 25th. Terry Rozier is going to celebrate his birthday March 17th, where he'll be 30 years young. I thought he was older for some reason. But you're going from a Kyle Lowry who averaged 8.2 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, and 4 assists, right? Shot 42% from the field, 42.4% from the field, to a guy in Terry Rozier who's averaging 23.2 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, and 6.6 assists a game, shooting 45.9% from the field. That's a win-win for South Beach. I know they had to send over a draft pick to the Hornets, but that's a win-win. We're going to see what it does, in the standings and everything. Like I said, we're right now in the second half of the season, 43 games in or what have you. But I think it was a great move for the Heat. And look, the trade deadline is on February 8th. Let's see who else moves. Have you guys been watching DeJounte Murray? Knicks, hello. I'm just saying, hearing the price is too high, according to the Knicks, supposedly. Now, as we close with our By the Way segment, Tristan Thompson has been suspended 25 games for violating the NBA's anti-drug policy. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, folks. I am on most social media platforms, on Facebook at SamIAnalyze, on Instagram at SamIAnalyze, on the platform now formerly known as Le Twitter, at SamIAnalyze. Please like, subscribe, and you see that notification bell to the right. Please click on that. That will let you know the next time I drop another video. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, à tout à l'heure.